Sit down! Sorry, it's a dog. I have to apologise for this dog, which has decided to bail up.
Don't worry about the dog. Just answer the question.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Otherwise, this interview will come to a grinding halt, Sarah.
Now, apart from that stroppy Sarah Ferguson, I thought that thing was funny and maybe even an effective deflection. But there is such a get Hanson frenzy now, I'm sure you've noticed, that even Labor ministers were today making this a political scandal.
Quick favour before we dive in. If you love Australia and want to stay across what is really happening in our politics, hit that subscribe button right now. It helps us keep this channel going, and over 90% of viewers have not done it yet. It would mean the world to us if you did. Thank you. Now, back to the show.
Was the dog not tethered? Why did it need to sit down? What was it doing that wasn't sitting? I mean, genuine questions.
God spare me. I'm surprised she took time off making her dodgy expenses claims to give us that. But anyway, Hanson today just laughed it off, of course, which still upset some journalists at a press conference who are also trying to make this into some huge Watergate.
He kind of laughed off the question about Barnaby Joyce on 7:30 last night. Is it really, though, something that you can just laugh off, the way his performance in that interview?
Well, the way he's told the dog, shut up. So what is your problem with that?
Well, no, I mean, because it just sort of seemed a little bit erratic. Did you not think the whole thing? It's sort of yelling at his dog.
Oh my God, is this an insight for you into what's going on at the moment? These are the questions that Hanson had to rush home to Australia to answer. The dog. Well, since we're talking about doggy things, let's get to the meat today, because I do want to show you how Hanson, for all her weaknesses, now has her One Nation Party level with the Labor and News poll, and why Australia really is witnessing a political revolution. Now, naturally, Hanson, at this event that she gave at, I think, Perth Casino, she rebutted the lie that I nailed last night, that in London she supposedly lamented the end of the White Australia policy.
I don't want to see this anti-Semitism that's going on. I don't want to see the hatred that's happening. And I just feel that, that's why I'm very strong on certain countries. You've got to say no. And I've got to...
I mean, is that... in a way, though, that is a version of a White Australia policy, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's got nothing to do with that. That's not to do with the White Australia policy at all. So don't go there with me, I'll tell you what, because I won't stand for it.
So you hear the support there for Hanson, which came from a sellout crowd of mainly small business people in Perth. So lots of support and obviously anger now at anything sounding like another of those tiresome media gotchas, which suggests that Hanson is right, that to a great many Australian voters now, no, she is not extreme.
I'm not extreme. People might say that about me. But I tend to say what people say to me, but you're only saying what we're thinking. But I've got the guts to get out there and say it.
In fact, let me interrupt myself on that point. You've seen the media jumping up and down about Hanson going through parts of London that are this month that are heavily Muslim, saying she doesn't want that for Australia, saying again today she wants to deport illegal immigrants. Oh, how racist! And you might have seen Liam Bartlett on Channel 7's Spotlight program this week, indeed seeming to suggest that Hanson might be going overboard. But, hello, the guy here on Hanson's left in this photograph is Spotlight producer Luke Mortimer, who sent Hanson a long letter asking her staff to go to London. Channel 7 would even help pay to film all that, saying, and Hanson put this on her website, We want to do a full-hour show on Australia's recent years of record-breaking net migration. Uncontrolled immigration is shaping up as next year's defining issue. The show ideally will further enlighten our viewers to the scale of the issue we are facing and what we might face if we don't take back control of who comes to our country. We can discuss travel arrangements for you and Pauline to the UK.
The Australian left spent weeks demanding Pauline Hanson come home from Britain and face scrutiny. Front up, they said. Answer the questions, they said. Stop hiding, they said. So she came home. She delivered a speech to a sellout crowd of small business owners in Perth. She held a press conference. She answered every question put to her. And she walked away, by most accounts, looking more formidable than when she left. There's an old saying about being careful what you wish for. Australian politics just learned it the hard way. G'day and welcome to the show. Welcome to AUS Politics Report, where the political backfires get covered as thoroughly as the victories. So, let us start with the central controversy that followed Hanson back from London. Critics, including Labor ministers and a chorus of left-leaning journalists, claimed she had made remarks in the United Kingdom lamenting the end of the White Australia policy. Hanson's response on returning was direct. She denied it, reframed her position as one of border control and deportation of illegal immigrants on national sovereignty grounds, and pointed out that she had been in London at the invitation of Channel 7's Spotlight program, which was filming a documentary on record-breaking net migration and uncontrolled immigration in Britain. Not, she argued, exactly the fringe mission her opponents were describing.
And, you know, really, I won't surprise you by saying that, you know, most journalists in private probably do admit that there is a real problem. But in public, which of them dares admit it? Except, of course, there's Hanson who does. And then they smash her. That's how it works. But back to Hanson today. Moderator Christopher Dorr asked Hanson how she'd been affected by decades of being treated like that as an extremist, a racist, and so on.
Are you scarred by that experience? I mean, you talk about being a loner in Parliament and being put down and abused and so on. I guess the first question is, has that changed in Parliament now? Do you have more people talking to you, being friendly with you, or do you still face some of that same isolation in the federal Parliament?
To tell you the truth, yes, I do. I've just... It's funny, and I've got to be honest, a lot of the people in that place wouldn't even give them the time of day. I don't, the Greens, you tell me one of the Greens that you want to spend time with. And a lot of them I don't respect because I can't believe it. Surely they've got to see what's happening to our country, but they won't speak up, they won't put their hand up, they won't do anything. They just sit there and go along with what they're told to do.
Now, I think that side of Hanson is going to resonate with many, many Australians, provided, of course, the media let people see it. Now, Hanson also today showed she's going to broaden her pitch to include a lot more economics. She's going to go around the country asking business owners what's wrong with this sick economy, what needs to be changed so they can make a buck. And I think that'll be good. But one benefit of that tour, of course, you've got to admit, is that it's going to buy Hanson time to actually produce some business policies. But there was one curious thing in her performance today. Is she actually too scared to be Prime Minister herself? Does she recognise her own weakness? Does she prefer the freedom to say whatever's on her mind without having to make the hard choices as a Prime Minister that come with actually running a country? Well, listen to her response to being asked if she actually did want to be Prime Minister.
Let me just tell you, it's not about Pauline Hanson becoming Prime Minister, Chris. I want the right person in the right job. Mm-hmm. And if someone that I believe can do a better job than I can, you go for it.
That's strange, you know. Even if Hanson won the election, would she be the Prime Minister? Would Barnaby? Would Angus Taylor? I don't know. So, whatever. Hanson today did what her haters yesterday demanded and fronted the media. The result? it just made her stronger. So, maybe the other political parties should learn that the best way to survive the Hanson challenge is not to lie about her or freak about Barnaby's dog, but to simply be better themselves. And I have to say, a lot better.
Whether you find that reframing convincing depends considerably on your priors. But here is the political reality. The attempt to use the London trip as a knockout blow did not land. It bounced, and Hanson walked into a Perth room full of small business owners and received the kind of reception that tells you something real about the gap between what the political class thinks ordinary Australians are concerned about and what ordinary Australians are actually concerned about. Do not forget to like and subscribe. It genuinely keeps this channel running, and we appreciate every single one of you. Now, there was a moment during the press conference coverage that Andrew Bolt flagged as illustrative of a broader media problem. While all of this was unfolding, Hanson back, policy questions live, immigration debate reignited, the political press spent a meaningful amount of energy on Barnaby Joyce shouting at his dog during a live television interview. Not metaphorically, literally, a dog being shouted at on television. And this received serious coverage. The contrast between the triviality being amplified and the substance being underreported is not a subtle one. On leadership ambitions, because this question always comes up, Hanson gave an answer that surprised even her interviewers. When asked directly whether she wants to be Prime Minister, she declined the personal ambition framing entirely. It is not about Pauline Hanson becoming Prime Minister, she said. It is about the right person in the right job. She floated other names, Barnaby Joyce, Angus Taylor, without apparent ego investment. For a politician who has been in the game for nearly 30 decades, that level of stated detachment from personal ambition is unusual enough to be genuinely noteworthy. She also announced a nationwide business tour, a consultation exercise with small business owners across the country to understand what is wrong with the economy from the ground up. Part genuine policy development, part political positioning, part buying time to build a credible economic platform. All three simultaneously is not a contradiction. It is competent politics. The lesson her opponents are refusing to learn is the one that Bolt articulated plainly. The way to counter Hanson is not mockery, not caricature, not manufactured outrage over overseas trips. It is to be demonstrably better, to govern with competence, transparency, and genuine responsiveness to the people who feel overlooked. Until that happens, she keeps growing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.